So good morning and welcome to Monkey House on Mondays. We're back, Lockdown 2, the sequel. Today I am being joined by Graeme Hinde, and Graeme, as you know, works up in the Northwest and works with an organisation, or his organisation, called My LFX. So good morning, Graeme. How are you today?
Morning, Dave. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, the sun's shining.
Excellent.
I've got my bike, I've pumped my tyres up, my bike's ready to go out later on. So yeah, all good.
Brilliant. And is that a road bike or a mountain bike? What sort of cyclist are you?
It's a hybrid, actually, Dave.
Oh, right. Okay. Excellent.
Which is quite a buzzword in the industry at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither one thing or the other, unfortunately. Yeah, challenging. Yeah. Okay. So, Graeme, just before we start, just talk to me about My LFX. What is it? What do you do?
Oh, well, LFX has evolved. Started it 14 years ago. I had hair, I think, when it started, and we do events. We run events for people that work in the industry, and we try and make and they used to be sort of obviously in real life, and we'd have an audience, and we'd have presenters, and all current topics, that kind of thing. It changed a couple of years ago in format when it became a bit more like a chat show.
Right.
So if you think of, pardon me, Jonathan Ross or something, you know, I'd have a couple of guests and chats, you know, because you've done it.
I have, yeah, it's great fun.
And so that's evolved, Dave, over recent years. We have a fitness element to it,
right,
which is separate. So that tends to be more around education, you know, real on-trend kind of things that are going on for people that are PTs, Group X instructors, that kind of thing.
Excellent. So you support operators and individuals then?
Yeah. So operators can join on a sort of corporate membership. Individuals can join on their own if they want to. We tend to find, Dave, we do get one or two people that perhaps have enjoyed their corporate membership, being part of a leisure trust, for example. Have attended a lot of events, and when they leave or move on, become self-employed, but they still stick with us as an individual.
Oh, excellent. And during lockdown, you, like me, have done this. We've gone online, and I've been lucky enough to be party to some of the conversations that you've been having and the way you've been supporting people through lockdown with new ideas and all of that type of stuff. How's that been for you? How have you coped with that?
Oh, well, I mean, I can't sort of claim it's been difficult. And I know that's, but if you think about it, you know, all the people that I know in the industry and other industries tend to be dealing with bricks and mortar members, or, you know, I'm not, minor events. And so tactically, I think what I needed to do was to take the events online, not make them as long. So normally you would do, in effect, a full day if you came to a real life event. Whereas what I decided to do was chop those hours up and spread them across a month on Zoom. Has that been difficult? Not really. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but I'd hate to sit here saying, oh, it's been really difficult, you know, because chatting to people on Zoom is not that different to chatting in real life. It's just perhaps not as attractive, if you like, in terms of getting out networking and having a bit of lunch and having a chat with colleagues you've not seen for a while. Obviously there's the difference there. But no, I'm a great believer that you grab hold of something, and whether it's your own health, whether it's your business, you've got to grab hold of it and own the situation. Don't wait around. So I suppose I'm lucky to have that in my genes, and that's why it's not been too difficult to make the transformation.
That's interesting you use the word luck, because I don't believe in the word luck. I think it's the work that you do, it's the way you behave, it's the conversation that you have that lead to these activities and lead to the way you drive yourself and do that type of stuff. But I've been really interested recently. I saw something you've put out around enabling some group exercise online classes. Can you do that for me? What have you done there?
Well, all it was, I'm trying to, you know, constantly trying to give value to LFX members, but more than that now, the whole industry, you know, because I really do believe, and I've always said to you, you're probably the best collaborator in our industry, and I learn from you with things like that, Dave. And I think with the group Xing, all it was, I love seeing people flourish. I love to see people do well. And so I decided that what I would do, as soon as this lockdown was announced, it's in effect 27 days. So 27 short workouts, 10 to 15 minutes long, because I don't know about you, but if I try and do an online workout at home, after 10 minutes, I'm sort of thinking, oh, I'm a bit hungry now, or, you know, and I'm distracted.
Yeah.
So I decided to offer some short ones out. And I've got a brilliant young lady. She's a Yorkshire lass. She's, you need a translator, to be honest. But Morgan does some great little workouts in a living room. And I've just put them out there so that it's another thing that our members, operators, can offer to their members. It's just some additional content. They don't have to, you know, but some will. So, I know one or two have already said they're going to do it. So it's just an added value thing, Dave, really.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Okay, I think it's really interesting. And the fact that you've actually introduced a new individual to the sector and you're helping their development, I think that's really positive. We often talk about people development, and you know, you and I started off at those jobs that every organization needs and worked our way through the business. And I think those values are really important for us.
Definitely.
And I think the other thing for me is it's about helping people's physical and mental health. And, you know, we were talking offline just a moment ago about how I think I've got better at sensing when I'm starting to dip a little bit, and when I'm starting to hit that flat spot, I'm spending time watching the birds in the garden, or I go out for a walk, or whatever it happens to be, just so that I don't get to the bottom of those things. And I know through conversations that we've had and those I've been party to with LFX, mental health has been really important to you and to a lot of people that you support. So what do you think the sector's doing, and how could it be better at helping people with their mental health, both the employees and our customers?
I think the industry by nature does a lot of good work for mental health. I'm not sure it's it is with some people. It's a conscious effort. It's a planned, it's part of their strategy. But generally we sort of, I think, possibly take for granted. We don't bang the drum enough about how we make people feel. You only have to go on, for example, the Pure Gym Twitter feed, just to see people, their members, dreading lockdown because it's about their mental well-being. And I would say, I'm the same. But we're lucky. We find different ways to exercise. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, Dave, I'll give you a little exclusive here. So, and you're the first person I've told. So I have been working behind the scenes at creating the industry's very first mental wellbeing hub. Right. It will be a resource that people can go to talk, to be signposted to appropriate services, to watch videos, to just to share as an industry. Initially, to look after the people that work in our industry, also to look after those who face redundancy. And the long-term thing being that we then become an industry that is more educated around mental well-being. And I mean actually qualified professionals. As we both know, there are qualifications now, mental health first aid, that kind of thing. And also something that I'm working on with professionals, with clinicians, is the creation of the industry's first mental health PARQ. All of these things I feel are something I want to give to the industry. It's all right me hosting events and saying, oh, why don't we do this? Well, as I said earlier, it's time to do it. And I've decided to do it. I've got fantastic support from my colleagues within the LFX team, particularly Lynn Briggs, who's working with the clinicians, and also from Matrix Fitness. Their Matrix are really one of our main sponsors, and Matrix are really behind the whole mental well-being thing. They did a great interview, Dave. They recorded an interview with Gabby Logan.
Oh yeah,
just a few weeks back, and that will be something we'll be using, where Gabby's talking about the benefits of physical activity and mental well-being, that kind of thing. So that's an exclusive for you.
That's really interesting. And was that a result of the LFX conversation that you had when you had the person who was responsible for mental well-being and health within one of the Northwest authorities? Yeah.
So we were already working, if you like, on this. There was that chat, but you know what, Dave? It was a couple of years ago we did a mental health session, and in that session we had a young lady who I met in a gym, and this is what triggered all of this. What triggered it was, I was in a gym, and there was a young lady in a wheelchair, and she really was young, you know, she was 18, something like that. And I noticed that she had something about her that people were drawn to her. She was chatty, she was smiley, etc., etc. Me being me, I walked over. I'm Graeme, nice to meet you. What, you know, what's the score? And her name was Kate. And Kate had failed in a suicide attempt. She jumped off a railway bridge and it hadn't worked, and she'd ended up in a wheelchair, paralysed. The gym was her little place to feel good, to feel part of something, to be involved, to feel attractive. She's a young woman, you know, to have banter with people, etc. And so I thought it just was a moment where I thought, we really do good stuff here, and we perhaps don't realize just how powerful it is. And that was what really triggered the whole thing, where I've been passionate, if you like, about us becoming more aware of how brilliant we are around mental health.
I love a story. You and I know we both use stories incredibly powerfully, but that was fantastic. That the story gives the quality and the context to what you're trying to do. And a mental health PARQ, I think, is going to be so valuable going forward to the services we do as we come out of this second lockdown, whenever that may be. So we've got a couple of minutes left, Graeme. Just give me your future. Give me a prediction for what would you like it, not what you think it will be, but what would you like the future of our beloved sector to deliver?
I'd like us to have a much stronger voice, a more confident voice. I'd like us to stop waiting for, I'm going to be a bit controversial here, but you know, if I ever, I don't very often, but if I ever go to my GPs, you know, most of them smoke. They probably like a drink in the evening, which, don't get me wrong, we all do, most of us. And they don't look in the best physical shape. And yet we seem to wait around to convince them, oh, please, you know, when actually just we could be, if we were all together on this, we could be the physical health service or the national wellbeing service, whatever you want to call it. Because you look at the size and the scale and the professionalism. I get a bit tired, Dave, of hearing people say, oh, you can be a PT in so many days. What about all the brilliant people we've got who can break down barriers? They might not have a qualification that took 3 years to get on a degree course, but they might naturally be able to converse with people, open people up to talk about their problems, their issues. So I just feel that we need to be a bit more ballsy, to be honest, and say we're good at what we do, and don't ever question that. There've been a few things have gone on recently, publicity stunts and things that probably haven't helped. But I think in general, you look at some of the great people that work in our industry. I mean, there's thousands of brilliant people who every day are on that front line, changing people's lives or making people, sustaining good health, mind and body, you know, and we should be proud of that. And we shouldn't be, I'm not saying everybody does, by the way, but I just think it's time to be more confident and bold in what we say. Maybe drop the word leisure now. Maybe people think of amusement parks and things. Maybe well-being and health and those words that people relate to are the words that we should be using because we are brilliant at what we do.
That's a really good place to end. We've had our time. You've done a great job. Thank you so much. It's really good to talk to you, and we'll
Lovely
see you.
to see you.
Take care, Graeme.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.